never been in a church with that much need. Winter of 2022 was really cold. And then I remember there were about 20 people, 25 people, and they were all like shaking as the pastor was preaching. And then because there was no walls, and you see it was windy, some of the kids were coughing, and some of them they couldn't make it because they were with fever, and it was so you could see there were people there in need, and some of them actually walk for 2 hours to be at the church.
Sometimes we could fantasize again and make it like this dream, like, oh my goodness, like we went to Peru, we shared the gospel, everything was beautiful, everybody accepted the Lord. There was definitely struggles that you faced. Okay. And so talk to me a little bit about the struggles that you faced. I know that you were able to find a church when you got there.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about the church that you found there and that you were ministering in.
Yes. So we moved to south of Lima, near the beach. I was fortunate to be able to find for a great, I think everything is God willing. He was able to find us a place for a quarter of the price of his value. So, and south of Lima, in the city called Lurin. When you cross the bridge, there's a bridge where people live there. Is a very unsafe, unsanitary, and very lacking of resources. So we're looking for a church near where we live, and there was a lot of Catholic churches, but Christian churches there were many, and then we found a Baptist church that I saw a preaching they did via Facebook, and all I can see they didn't have the equipment to do the preaching, but they had recordings. But I liked the message, and it was in sync to what I believe and what we teach here in Glavio as well. So I approached the church, and as we find the church, as we were driving with a car, there's a point where the road ended, and you still need to drive another mile on rocks and dirt to get to the church. And it was surprising. I never been in a church with that much need. I seen probably on the TVs and stuff. But in Africa, so I didn't know it was. So that's where we find a church. It was amazing preaching, loving people.
What a perspective shift, right? Because I know some of the churches. Here, you have big churches, you have small churches, but all churches, for the most part, have some sort of equipment. They have some sort of stability, and to be in a church where you're in the middle of like a dirt patch. I don't even think they had like a roof, right? And they didn't have walls or something.
No, they didn't have walls. It was June when I found a church, and it was very, very. It was a very cold month in Peru.
Because it's backwards.
It's backwards, right.
Yeah,
but here summer is winter.
Yeah. Okay.
So the winter of 2022 was really cold, and then so I remember there were about 20 people, 25 people, and they were all like shaking as the pastor was preaching, and then because there was no walls, and you see it was windy, and it was really cold, and then some of the kids were coughing, and some of them they couldn't make it because they were with fever, and it was so you could see there were people there in need, and some of them actually walk for 2 hours to be at the church. They don't have cars. None of them have cars. None of them. And some of them came from very far. Some of them took buses. Like they were to get there at 10 in the morning. They had to leave like around 7 in the morning from their house, and take a bus for 3 hours. To be there. So, when I started talking to them, I saw I felt like, man, this is just. I felt like everything was just given to me. I coming in with a car because we also bought a car. When we still at church, we didn't buy a car back then. We rented a car.
Okay.
We were moving by renting a car. Because
but that's amazing, right? Like you get to a place where there's no road, there's no walls, it's cold, people are walking forever, and the gospel's still being preached.
Right.
Like the word of God is so powerful and effective. Like I think sometimes people need that perspective shift I think that's one of the reasons why when people go on mission trips, when people go on trips where they get to serve and they get to see need, it changes your perspective of what it means to be a Christian, because you see that the word of God is effective even in places where they don't have things, where they don't have resources. And we realize how entitled we are sometimes. Sometimes, hey, if I don't feel like it, I'm not going to church. All right, if my car doesn't have enough gas, I'm not going to church. If it's raining a little bit, or if it looks like it's going to rain, I'm not going to church. And these people are going to church not because there's entertainment or because they're going for the fellowship of the people that are there, and they're there to hear the word of God. And that's powerful, man. And that's something that should be the driving factor in the church, the community of the church and the word of God being preached. And that's great, man. That's awesome. And so as you were there, you started helping out in this church, started helping to resource, and also like helping them out in different things.
Right.
Talk to me a little about the impact you had, or the things that you saw God using you in that place.
Well, one of the things that God used me to help them, for instance, was to find and they did an event to help out the community. Somehow God allowed these missions, the missionaries that came with doctor missionaries. There's a team of like 30 doctors, with nurses and everything, just coming in, and they were looking for a place to plan a mission so we can help provide healthcare, free healthcare to communities that were in need.
Yeah. And
somehow this is American team. So they came and they picked a church, but this is what is funny, because when we were there, like I said, there was no walls. So I was like, talking to the pastor, man, there's no walls. People are getting sick. He's like, oh, there's no money.
Yeah.
So let's buy material. So we started getting quotes, and we get some special permission to do the walls. So we had got another material that we didn't need to get those permissions, but we could just cover. So we did the walling thing. So after we did, we fabricated this wall made out of some kind of fabric, special fabric that they had, that would allow the walls to cover from the wind, but on the top will also prevent mosquitoes and things to come in.
Okay, like a netting.
So, like a netting.
Okay.
So we did those things. So after we did the wall thing, somehow the people that were looking for a place to build these tents, and they found, oh man, that this church has a place, has at least the walls, so we can actually line up the tables and the chairs, and then we can put the tents on the other side. So this is perfect. So it's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence, but it's providence. So after we did that, just the other people. So we're with that for 2 days, we were able to, with the doctors and everything, we were able to provide healthcare for over 1,800 people.
Wow. That's big.
And the family and me and the kids were there, planting up flyers. I think one time I think they put a video that planting up flyers and giving up information, and with the renter car that I had was just driving up people back and forth because they couldn't walk. I mean, some people couldn't really walk to get treatment, so I would just go to the Mayor Plaza and then pick them up and take them back there. And one of the drivers, I remember one of the doctors broke the head of one of the machines that he was having, so he needed a part. They're like, oh man, who has a car? Me, I have the car. Okay, let's go. So we drove all over town looking for the little part. Yeah. Because there were a lineup of kids that needed some repairs. So I see God was using us and using me in a little sand of grain between everything that was happening. So it felt good. It felt good to be able to be used by God and help out in whatever I could.
Hey, just want to thank you for watching our channel. Please hit that subscribe button.